Well, I'm on the exhibition floor right now at the booth of BSW, which is the German Solar Association, and with me is David Wedepohl. David, it's great to be back.
Oh, we're really glad to be back, and I can tell you, you can hear the buzz here, the 12 halls that we have. Oh my God, I plan to walk through it later today because East and West entrance are open, and we're quite excited to be here.
Yes, so let's talk about the role of photovoltaics for these immense demands that we have. How do you rate that?
Yeah, it's quite astonishing to see both domestically in Europe and worldwide how much solar is supposed to be built. So together with the other renewable energies, depending on your geographic situations, they can really be used to compensate for the conventionals. But a massive scale up is important. So what we have to do is we have to stop to think about electricity alone. We have to think about all of the other sectors, and they have to be integrated in an intelligent manner and managed in an intelligent manner in order to do that. And I think the versatility of PV is really the key to that, because it can be on a very small scale in a solar home system in a residential. It can be an entire quarter or an industry quarter. It can be a power plant, and it can be a source for fuel for e-cars, as well as feed an electrolyzer for hydrogen and all of these other things. And with the prices still as low as they are, we're really seeing that demand can be met and these goals can actually be realized.
Talking about realized goals, talking about politics. As we know, the new German government is totally with renewables, but you still have some demands, right? How do they look like?
We wouldn't be a lobby organization if we didn't, but there are some devils in the detail. There are three things driving the market now in Germany and worldwide, and these are the outside factors. One is the war against Ukraine, which has really also taken people at a very stark look at energy supply. We also have the recovery from the pandemic, the economic recovery, and you know what? The climate crisis, it hasn't gone away. The planet keeps warming, and we still need to fight that. So the government has more than doubled the PV installation rate as a goal in 2030 to 215 gigawatts in 2030 and 400 gigawatts a decade later. So in order to do that, there are a few things that need doing. We see some very positive improvements. There are going to be more tenders because naturally a lot of these installations, this massive deployment has to be not only on roofs but in the open field. But we are also seeing some details where the remuneration for these large plants is decreasing, where we no longer live in a world where the prices are always just declining. And the other thing is the workforce. We need to double our workforce in Germany. We see that a lot of the electricians, the 50,000 electricians so far who don't install solar are coming into the sectors. Roofers are coming into the sectors, but this has to be a concerted effort. And the last barrier that we are facing is that there isn't enough land. We need open field installation. Land is made available through the states, through the communes, and that takes time. However, time is of the essence. It's already, May 2022, and 2030 is not far away.
So that was the one side. The other side, of course, is the industry that you're talking for. And we have this, rapid growth already now, and it's going to be even bigger in the upcoming years. How can the industry handle that?
So we think you're absolutely right, because without bringing money in from private investment from the private sector, this can't be scaled to this degree. So I think what we are seeing is a renaissance, and you can see this here, of production in Europe. We're seeing more and more factories scaling their existing production. We're seeing new players coming into the market, and people are trying to plug the holes that have appeared in the value chain. However, we believe also that free trade is really important to this. So the free flow of goods is going to happen. So I hope and I think that the supply chain issues that we have are going to be overcome. You can see people are here and they're sourcing materials, they're finding new partners, and what we have seen in the past also, whenever something appeared, something was scarce, people stepped up, the industry stepped up, invested, and created these products. It's how it works, and the marketplace where it happens is right here.
And do you see other bottlenecks for this expansion? Is there anything else that you would, mention here?
I mean, in Germany, it's the supply of land. As I have said, there isn't enough yet. It's always three things. It's the framework conditions that have to be adopted, so availability of land. Something interesting we're seeing in France. France has laws for Olympic Games. So if a French city wins a winter or summer Olympic Games, they have a speed-up process for the bureaucracy to get something built. And they're trying to apply that to renewable energy as a whole, and solar in particular. So we need an Olympic effort in the framework conditions. We need financing because it's always an upfront investment, but I think in Europe and Germany, that's not a big issue, but it's a big issue in other countries where you have currency risks, for instance. And then skilled labor was already mentioned. With the scaling up, this is a job engine on the positive end. On the negative end, the people are not going to fall on trees. They need to be trained. All these systems need to be planned. They need to be installed, and they need to be maintained. So I think there is a massive push to come into the sector, but we also see that a lot of young people are interested to enter, and a lot of countries where it's important that they take up renewable energy, that they take up solar. These countries have a labor force, have a lot of young people that can be trained indeed.
All right, well then let's look at some solutions at least for all these issues that you just mentioned. Let's take a look at what can be seen here at InnoSolar Europe 2022. What kind of impressions do you get, and what impresses you the most here?
I think the sheer size of the fair is just the 12 halls, east and west are open, is really impressive, and the buzz that is here. But there is a lot of innovation that is happening. So we're seeing little things like in-frame inverters. I haven't seen that before. A lot of things are converging. So now the big inverters, they run the software for the energy management. We're seeing the bigger modules we've talked about with more yield. It's always that game to ever more yield, less material. We're seeing it with the batteries, that the different technologies are becoming, are entering the field. We are seeing big industry players moving into the world of electrolyzers and green hydrogen. So we're seeing the combination of PV in large scale and small scale and off-grid. And in off-grid and on-grid, we're also seeing a convergence. Off-grids are getting bigger, smaller grids are connected with one another, and there are more fields of application, productive use that are actually happening, such as food processing, cooling, as well as actually PV that is in actual use with the bifacial modules, that is actually being done, being deployed and happening rather than being pilot projects.
All right, so a lot of stuff to see. I guess we are going through the halls now and just have a look, and you just enjoy the upcoming program. Take care. Thank you very much, David, by the way.